Two balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. This is one back. Welcome on. Let's Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Daniel Starkand, Blake Williams. Guys, we got some movement. An actual signing by the Dodgers. Shelby Miller, relief pitcher, signed $1.5 million, plus some incentives. Ken Rosenthal reported the signing first. Kylie McDaniel, the first to get to money. This is a 32-year-old pitcher, Blake. He's only made 17 appearances over the past 3 seasons. 45 if you go all the way back to 2017. Overwhelming, underwhelming? Like, how are we feeling about this?
It was shocking when I first saw it. He hasn't pitched much in a while, as he said, but he had some interesting numbers, and it's one of the moves the Dodgers, they're going to try and fix him like they do with all their pitchers. But it was a limited sample last year, 7 innings, but he struck out 47% of hitters. He allowed no homers, and he changed his pitch mix, which was interesting. He dropped his cutter, his changeup, and his curveball that he's previously thrown. He started throwing his slider 45% more than he did before.
Wow.
And he only threw his fastball as a secondary pitch. So he's a 2-pitch guy now, and it led to some promising results, which is promising. So, yeah.
Daniel, is this we trust in Andrew Friedman, $1.5 million? This guy's going to be an all-star kind of a deal?
I don't know about an all-star, but I definitely feel like, that's where we're at here. Like, I'm not going to pretend to know a whole lot about Shelby Miller. Haven't really followed much of him the last 3 years, but Friedman has earned the benefit of the doubt when it comes to these things. Like, we've seen it time and time again. And like you said, $1.5 million, there's pretty much no risk involved here. Like, if it doesn't work out, so be it. And if it does work out, you have another potentially, good to elite reliever to add to your bullpen. We know, the Dodgers kind of like building their bullpen this way. Like, they're not necessarily going to go out and get, the best free agent reliever on the market. They're gonna, dumpster dive, as we like to call it, and see what's out there for cheap. And if you add, 4 or 5 of these guys to the mix, and 1 or 2 of them end up being pretty good, then to me, that's worth it.
Yeah, all due respect to Shelby Miller on the dumpster dive reference, by the way, there. Yeah, I mean, I look at the numbers. One thing you forgot to add, Blake, in the 7 innings he pitched last year was the fact that he gave up a crap load of runs in those innings as well. 6.5 ERA in 4 appearances. Those were with the Giants. But as you
said,
all
in one outing. I'll add that. So he had 1 really bad outing.
There you go. And the 14 strikeouts in 7 innings, that's the number you're looking for. If you go back to AAA, he struck out 69 guys in 53 1/3 innings. And so that's kind of what you're betting on. Obviously, we've seen Shelby Miller be a productive major league pitcher before with the Diamondbacks and then with the Cardinals. That was a long time ago. He's 32 years old now. Justin Lorber, our prospects guy, he retweeted somebody who pointed out that if you're looking at TrackMan numbers, which I'll admit I don't fully understand all of these, that there's some reason for optimism there. The vertical movement on his fastball, the angle at which it goes through the strike zone, his extension, those are all like above average projectable numbers. His stuff plus, Blake, I know you're a stuff guy, his stuff mix rates well, so I'm with you guys. Like, sure, great. Like, I like the name. I recognize the name. He's 32. He's changed his pitch mix. He struck a bunch of guys out. That's the type of profile you want to bet on. Let me ask you real quick about the Dodgers bullpen. Matt and I talked about this when we talked about Alex Reyes being a guy that they were interested in signing. The bullpen's in an interesting spot because I count 5 guys in the bullpen that I think we would all trust. That's Phillips, Vesia, Gratterall, Almonte, and Ferguson. Those are 5 guys I feel confident in. You've got Daniel Hudson, who's a wild card, says he's going to be back before the season. Matt and I kind of think probably a month or 2 into the season is when you see him coming off an ACL injury, up there in age. So what we get out of Hudson is a wild card. Then on the 40-man, you've got guys like Victor Gonzalez, Justin Brule, Jake Reed. Obviously, excess starters. Blake Trinan, I would say, is not expected to do much. And so you throw a guy like Shelby Miller into this mix, it still feels like you've got 5 guys you trust. Hudson, if you want to go out on that limb, that's 6. And then maybe 5 or 6 different guys that sort of are a grab bag of, can we find 2 or 3 guys we trust in here? Daniel, all of this is a long-winded way of saying, do the Dodgers still need to go and get more help in the bullpen in your estimation?
I think they'll still go get more, but I definitely don't think it'll be like top of the market free agent relievers necessarily. I think they'll add a couple more lottery ticket type guys, kind of similar to Miller on cheap deals, maybe minor league deals with invites to spring training. Maybe they re-sign one of their free agents, like Tommy Kahnle's a free agent. Chris Martin was exceptional for the Dodgers down the stretch. If they could get, one of those guys kind of in the mid tier, like, $6-7 million a year, as opposed to the top of the market, which is, 10, 12, even 15 million. I think they'd add one or two of those guys as well. But like you said, they already got a good foundation to build from here. The one thing I'd like to see is I don't necessarily think they need to bring in like a set closer as they have in the past, like the Kimbrel deal last year. I don't think you necessarily need to have just a straight ninth inning guy. I think with the depth they have, with the quality of arms they have, they could just kind of mix and match and do it that way.
Yeah, and they've got a couple righties you trust. They got a couple lefties you trust. So you can, it doesn't even have to be a Vesia for lefties and Phillips for righties. You could kind of say Vesia or Ferguson, depending on the night, and Phillips or Gratterall or Almonte, depending on the night. Blake, do you agree with that? Do you think sort of the biggest move that the Dodgers might make would be in that Chris Martin, Tommy Kahnle type tier?
Yeah, I agree with that. They don't really want to have a closer like ever. That's something they've talked about a lot. And they're going to bring in more guys. Friedman has talked about how the bullpen is the thing that always keeps them up at night because they're just so volatile. You never know what relievers are going to give you. Like we say we trust 5 of them, but who knows what's going to happen next year. We might end up trusting 1 of them, or we might end up trusting 10 of them. It's just the nature of how bullpens work. So they're going to find more guys to bring in. They're not going to be the higher end guys, but they're going to bring in more players.
Yeah, I'd love Chris Martin. He's the guy that I would like to bring back. I think there's, everybody has risk. Kahnle, was great. I think the health stuff continues to pop up with him, which worries me. Chris Martin's the guy that I would like to see back. And, of course, the other name that, floating out there, Kenley Jansen, who knows, might need a place to pitch next year. So something to talk about in another video. But, again, the headline today, Dodgers signed reliever Shelby Miller, 1 year, $1.5 million deal with some incentives as well. That's Daniel. That's Blake. My name is Jeff. Thank you for joining us. As always, check out DodgerBlue.com for a full write-up on moves like this and others, DodgerBlue1958 on social media. And, of course, subscribe, ring the notification bell here on YouTube because anytime there's a signing like this, we will have it for you here. Enjoy the rest of your day. As always, go Dodgers.